know?
A plant.
A plant, yeah, definitely. A plant is a living thing. What else is a living thing?
Animals and people.
Animals and people, yep, definitely. What is similar about all those living things? How does a plant and a person and an animal, what do they have in common?
They eat food.
They eat food. How does a plant eat food?
By the soil and water.
Yep. What do they do with the food that they eat though, Ali?
They get energy.
They get energy, yep. So all living things use energy. What do they use for their energy? How does a plant use its energy? By, what does it do? What does a plant do mainly?
Grow.
It grows. That's how it uses its energy. So do people grow?
Yeah.
And do animals grow?
Yeah.
So all living things, what do they all have in common? They all
Grow.
grow. So that's something they share in common. Good. What else does living things? Let's talk about animals and people. How do they use their energy?
By moving.
By moving. Did you know that a plant actually moves as well?
Yeah.
How does a plant move?
By a person moving it or the wind.
Or the wind. How else does it move, do you think? A plant actually moves when it grows. So a living thing, all living things move. Great. There's actually two more ways that something is a living thing.
They reproduce and they're sensitive.
Yeah, you're onto it. You know. I think you probably read off my sheets though. But they reproduce. How does a plant reproduce? What does it use to reproduce?
It uses the sun.
The sun, yep, that's one part. But
water.
Yep. But how would I reproduce this plant? What would I use from the plant to make another one?
The seeds.
The seeds, yep, definitely. So all plants have to have seeds, yep. Yep. And the other way that you just said was that all living things are sensitive, aren't they? How are plants sensitive, do you think? I know I can get sensitive. If I get hurt, I get a bit sad.
If it gets cut like this accidentally, it hurts, it's sensitive.
Yep. How do you think people are sensitive? And I don't mean feelings. They do have feelings.
If it gets cut, it will hurt.
Yeah.
They're sensitive.
Yep. How do we know that something's sensitive if we got cut?
It will hurt.
It will hurt. Yep. And there might be blood. Yep. Definitely. So those are all ways that we can be something is a living thing. I've got a tricky question for you now. Are you ready for my tricky question?
Yeah.
It's a bit out of the ordinary. I would like to know how you would know if something that we found on another planet or the moon was a living thing. So just imagine, use your imagination, if something came into Australia and was standing right next to you and it came from the moon, how would we know if it was a living thing?
It would move.
It would move, yep, definitely. It would have to move because that's how we think a living thing is a living thing.
It would grow.
It would grow, yep.
It would use energy.
Yep. Do you think it would have to eat food to use energy?
Yes.
It would have to eat food to use energy. Does this eat food?
Yes.
What type of food though?
Soil.
Soy. So do you think it would have to eat a banana or an apple? No, it could get its food from somewhere else, couldn't it? Yep. What else would it have to do?
Reproduce.
Reproduce. So if it came from another planet, you'd have to make
Babies.
Yeah, definitely. And sensitive. That's the other way it could be a living thing, do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about breathing? Breathing's pretty important to plants and to us and to animals, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how would you know that something that came from another planet was able to breathe on our planet?
You would be able to see it breathe.
What would you see? When we breathe, what do you see? How do you know I'm breathing?
My chest
My chest, what does my chest do?
goes